For years, I've watched people online promise that building an online business is easier than ever. A laptop, a bar, few AI tools, and enough determination apparently turns anyone into an entrepreneur. The more videos I watched, the more convinced I became that I was only one good idea away from changing everything. There was just one problem. Everyone had a different idea. One creator said to start a YouTube channel. Another said to sell digital products. Then someone else claimed AI. Automation was the fastest path to financial freedom. Every expert seemed certain, and every expert disagreed. So I did what most people do. I kept researching. Every night I'd convince myself that just one more video, one more podcast, or one more Reddit thread would reveal the answer I'd been missing. Months passed, and something strange happened. I knew more about building an online business than I ever had before, but I'd built almost nothing. Instead of creating, I was comparing. Instead of shipping, I was planning. It felt productive because I was learning every day, but deep down, I knew I was standing still. The truth is, I wasn't actually trying to build a business anymore. I was trying to avoid making the wrong decision. Research had quietly become a way of procrastinating. And honestly, I don't think I'm alone. If you've ever wanted to build something online, you've probably felt the same. Pressure to pick the perfect business before taking the first step. Recently, I looked back at what I'd actually achieved. Nearly 50 YouTube videos, hours of notes, dozens of business ideas. Yet the thing I wanted most, a second income for my family, still felt just as far away. That's when I realized I'd been asking the wrong question. I wasn't supposed to find the perfect online business first. I needed to stop treating every decision like it would define the rest of my life. For years, I'd been treating every business idea like a life decision. If I chose the wrong one, I'd waste months. So, instead of choosing, I kept searching for something that felt guaranteed to work. The problem is that certainty doesn't really exist online. Every successful creator is showing you the path that worked for them, not every path that didn't. By the time you find them, you're only seeing the winning lottery ticket. That completely changed how I looked at advice. Two people can give opposite strategies, both be successful, and both genuinely believe they're right. Success doesn't automatically make someone's process universal. I realized I'd fallen into what I now call the research trap. It's the point where learning feels so productive that you stop noticing you've replaced building with consuming. The scary part is that the research trap doesn't feel like procrastination. You're watching tutorials, taking notes, saving ideas. It feels like work, even though nothing exists at the end of the day. I started asking myself one uncomfortable question. If I couldn't watch another YouTube video for a month, what would I actually build with everything I already know? The answer was frustratingly obvious. I didn't need another business idea. I needed evidence that I could finish something even if it wasn't perfect. That's when I noticed something else. The people I admired weren't successful because they always chose the perfect idea. They became successful because they finished far more ideas than everyone else. In other words, they weren't collecting information. They were collecting feedback. Every project, every upload, and every launch taught them something that another hour of research never could. So I made a decision that honestly feels uncomfortable. For the next chapter of this channel, I'm going to stop chasing certainty and start chasing evidence. Every experiment will have one goal: learn something by actually shipping it. The first thing I noticed was that I'd been treating failure like something to avoid. But almost every successful person I'd been studying seemed to treat failure as a source of information instead. Think about learning to ride a bike. Nobody watches 200 hours of tutorials before taking the training. Wheels off. You wobble, you fall, you adjust, and every mistake teaches you something no video ever could. Building online works exactly the same way. Your first product won't be perfect. Your first YouTube video probably won't go viral. Your first business idea might not even make $1, but every attempt leaves you with something valuable, evidence. That made me realize I'd been collecting the wrong currency. I thought knowledge was the goal, when in reality, the most valuable thing you can collect is proof that comes from doing the work. A creator with 20 failed uploads usually understands YouTube better than someone who's watched 20 hours of advice, not because they're smarter, but because they've tested ideas against reality instead of theory. The internet has a strange way of making us believe we're one more tutorial away from being ready. In reality, readiness usually arrives halfway through doing the thing you were avoiding. That's why I think so many people stay stuck for years. They confuse preparation with progress. Both feel productive, but only one leaves something behind that the world can actually respond to. So I asked myself a different question. Instead of wondering which online business would make the most money, I started asking which experiment I could finish this week. That sounds like a small difference, but it completely changes the game. A business feels overwhelming. One experiment feels achievable, and experiments have an ending, which means they always teach you something. That's the system I'm committing to from today. Every project, every upload, and every product has one job. Not to change my life overnight, but to leave me knowing more than I did before I started. One thing became obvious once I started thinking in experiments instead of businesses. I didn't need to bet the next 2 years of my life on one perfect idea. I only needed to commit to finishing one small project. That sounds simple, but it's the complete opposite of how most of us think. We ask, what business should I build? When a much better question is, what can I finish by Sunday? Because finishing creates something incredibly valuable. It creates proof that you can execute, proof that you can improve, and eventually, proof that other people actually want what you're making. That's the mistake I think a lot of online advice accidentally encourages. It celebrates massive outcomes, but it rarely shows the hundreds of small finishes that came before them. When you only see someone's million-dollar business, you miss the 20 tiny projects that quietly taught them how to build it. Success usually isn't one brilliant idea. It's accumulated experience disguised as confidence. So instead of searching for the perfect online business, I've started designing experiments that are almost impossible not to finish. Smaller scope, shorter timelines, faster feedback. That means if an idea fails, I haven't lost 6 months. I've lost a weekend, gained a lesson, and moved one step closer to something that actually works. That's a trade I'm happy to make every single time. And that's exactly what this channel is becoming. Not a place where I pretend to have all the answers, but a place where I test ideas in public and show you what actually happens. Some experiments might make money, some might completely flop. Honestly, I'm expecting plenty of failures, but I'd rather document real failures than manufacture fake success. Because if you're trying to build something alongside a full-time job, you probably don't need another guru telling you what worked perfectly. You need someone willing to show you what happened when it didn't. So this isn't the announcement of a perfect plan, it's the beginning of a commitment. From today, every upload has one purpose: run a real experiment, learn something useful, and share the result honestly. That's the only promise I'm prepared to make. For the first time in a long time, I don't actually know which experiment will succeed. And strangely, that's become one of the most exciting parts of this whole journey. Because if I already knew exactly what was going to work, this wouldn't really be an experiment. It would just be me, following someone else's blueprint and hoping my results looked the same. Instead, I'm going to test ideas that genuinely interest me, measure the outcome, and decide what deserves more of my time. If something works, I'll double down. If it doesn't, I'll tell you exactly why I think it failed. That also means this channel is going to change. You're not just going to see finished results. You'll see the planning, the mistakes, the launches, the numbers, and the moments where I question whether any of this is actually working. Because that's the part nobody seems to show. We see screenshots of revenue. We see subscriber milestones. We almost never see the months where nothing happens except quiet, consistent work. And honestly, I think those months are where almost everything important is learned. Not because they're exciting, but because they're where systems are built, discipline is tested, and confidence slowly replaces uncertainty. My goal isn't to convince you that every experiment will succeed. It's to show you what happens when someone commits to finishing projects instead of endlessly chasing the next better idea. If you're watching this because you also want another income, I hope these videos save you some time. Maybe you'll avoid mistakes I make. Maybe you'll copy ideas that work. Either way, we both end up learning faster. And there's something else I realized while making this decision. I don't actually need every experiment to make money. I only need each one to answer a question I didn't know the answer to before I started. Because eventually, enough answered questions become experience, and enough experience becomes something much more valuable than another bookmark tutorial. It becomes your own way of thinking. So that's what Attention Lab is becoming. Not a channel about having the answers, a channel about finding better questions, testing them honestly, and sharing whatever happens next. So if there's one idea I hope you remember from this video, it's this. Stop asking, what's the perfect business? Start asking, what's the next experiment I can actually finish? Because finishing is where confidence comes from. Not another course, not another podcast, not another weekend spent planning. Confidence is built every time you keep a promise to yourself. Maybe your first experiment is a YouTube video. Maybe it's a digital product. Maybe it's a simple website or a freelance service. The specific project matters far less than your willingness to complete it. If you keep repeating that cycle, something interesting starts to happen. You're no longer waiting for permission to call yourself a creator or an entrepreneur. You're becoming one through repetition. That's the journey I'm committing to document here. Not because I know exactly where it ends, but because I think there are thousands of people quietly trying to do the same thing after work every day. Some months I'll make progress. Some months I'll probably feel completely stuck. But instead of disappearing until I have a success story, I'm going to bring you along for all of it. If one experiment works, we'll break it down together. If one fails, we'll break that down too. Either way, we'll leave. Each project knowing more than when we started, and that's how real progress compounds. So this is episode 1 of a different approach. Less chasing certainty, more building, less consuming, more creating, less wondering if it's possible, and more finding out. If you're trying to build something of your own, I'd genuinely love to know what it is. Leave a comment, keep me accountable, and maybe we'll end up learning from each other's experiments along the way. Because 1 year from now, I don't want to look back and remember another 100 videos I watched. I want to look back at a list of things I actually built. And if that sounds like the kind of journey you want to follow, I'll see you in the next experiment.